My beloved child, you've been walking through your days carrying 1,000 silent burdens. I see them, a leech invisible weight clinging to your heart like dew that never dries. And though no one else sees, I do. Every step you take I follow. Every sigh you release, it echoes in my heart. You've wondered if my silence meant indifference, but it never did. I wasn't absent, I was waiting. Waiting for this very moment when your heart would quiet just enough to hear me speak. I know you've been looking for answers. I know you've cried when no one was there to witness, and I know the ache of hoping while silently preparing yourself for disappointment. You've searched for meaning in all the noise, trying to make sense of pain that felt too personal to explain. You've offered love in empty places, prayed in rooms that felt hollow, and waited for people to affirm a worth I sealed in you before you were born. But I have seen, child. I have always seen. Not just the version of you the world sees, but the soul beneath your battle. The child who didn't feel chosen, the dreamer who buried hope just to survive another season. The one who tells themselves, just one more day, while not even knowing what they're holding on for. And that is why I am speaking now. This moment, this quiet collision between your ache and my voice is not coincidence. It is divinely orchestrated. I have crossed oceans of silence and centuries of longing just to get this message into your hands, because you are standing at a crossroads, child. A spiritual place where the wrong step could cost more than you can see, and I will not let you move forward believing I forgot you. I will not allow the lies in your mind to scream louder than the truth I wrote into your spirit when I made you. Hear me. I never abandoned you, even when your prayers seemed unanswered, even when the healing didn't come the way you begged for it, even when life crumbled beneath your feet and you thought no one saw. I was there. I wept when you wept. I fought battles in realms you'll never know. I covered you in places that should have broken you. And even when you questioned my goodness, I stayed faithful to you, because I have never wanted religion from you. I've never asked for perfect duty or guilt-wrapped worship. What I've longed for is relationship, the sacred, quiet place where your soul remembers my voice, where your heart recognizes it is still loved, still chosen, still wanted. My beloved child, I need you to pause. Not just for a breath, but for the weight of this moment. This is not just another word. This is a divine interruption. You have been searching, I know. Searching for clarity, for comfort, for direction. You've been navigating a storm that no one else can fully see, keeping your head above water while waves of confusion, loneliness, and disappointment crash over your soul. You've been told that faith means pressing through, smiling despite the ache, but I never asked you to pretend with me. What you feel is real. That heaviness on your chest, that question in the pit of your stomach, am I really going to make it through this? That deep, aching sense that something's off, that something is missing, that maybe, just maybe, you've wandered too far from where you were meant to be. But child, I am here. And this moment is not a coincidence. You did not stumble upon these words by accident. I orchestrated this intersection of your ache and my voice, because I will not let you drift any further without hearing the truth that will anchor you again. I've watched you try to find purpose in performance. I've seen you chase validation from people who cannot recognize the treasure I've placed inside you. I felt the quiet heartbreak in your spirit, as you gave love to places that couldn't hold it, waited for responses that never came, and questioned if maybe your presence was just too much or never enough. But I see the real you, the you behind the mask, the you who still prays in the dark, the you who still holds on to hope, even if by a thread. And I am here to speak to that version of you. Listen carefully now. You are not too far gone. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible in my sight. You are still mine. You've been standing at a spiritual crossroads, whether you knew it or not. The decisions you make now are not small. The direction of your next steps will echo into your future. And I cannot let you take the wrong path in silence. You see, the enemy is clever. He's been trying to convince you that this restlessness in your soul is just stress or exhaustion, but it's not. It's my spirit, nudging you, calling you, shaking the foundations of the life you've been building without me at the center. I've closed doors you prayed would open. I've disrupted plans that look promising, not to harm you, but to save you, because not everything good is godly, and not everything that shines is safe. You've been inches away from stepping into something that looks like a blessing, but is actually a carefully disguised trap, a relationship, a mindset, an opportunity, a compromise. Something that seems like an answer, but would become a weight pulling you further from peace, further from purpose, and further from me. So I had to interrupt. I've whispered. I've tugged on your heart in the quiet. I've made you uncomfortable in spaces that once felt safe. And now I'm raising my voix in anger, but in mercy. Come back. Come back before you hand your heart to something that was never meant to hold it. Come back before you confuse resilience with numbness. Come back before you define your future by a version of you I never designed. You don't need to be perfect to return. You don't need to have answers. You just need to be willing. I'm not calling you back to religion, not to duty, not to shame. I'm calling you back to relationship, to the sacred place where you recognize my voice and remember your name, where you stop measuring your worth by what you can produce and remember that you are already chosen. Do not underestimate the power of this moment. This is not just a good word, it's a rescue, a holy breaking in. And the only thing I need from you is your yes, not your performance, not your perfection, just your yes. Yes to healing. Yes to wholeness. Yes to letting go. Yes to coming home. Beloved, have you noticed the pressure lately? The strange resistance? It's not your imagination. It's not random. It's not because you're cursed or failing. It's because you're carrying something sacred. You are dangerous to darkness. That's why the opposition has intensified. You've been walking with an unseen target on your back, not because of your mistakes, but because of your potential. Because hell sees the flicker of glory I've placed inside you and knows what will happen if you ever walk in the fullness of it. You think the warfare is because you're weak, but it's the opposite. You've been chosen, marked, set apart, and the enemy fears what I've planted in you. That's why the storms come when they do right, when you're about to break through. That's why confusion hits when you're finally starting to hope again. That's why the enemy screams louder when you're getting close to clarity. Because your yes to me is disruptive. Your obedience is explosive. Your persistence in the face of pain, it shakes things. Every time you got back up, every time you chose kindness instead of bitterness, every time you prayed through clenched teeth or forgave when it wasn't returned, it sent tremors through the enemy's plans. You've been asking why it feels like everything is closing in. It's because you're nearing a divine shift. Something is about to break open. Something is moving in your favor, and the enemy is terrified of what comes next. So he's throwing distractions dressed up like options. He's sowing doubt disguised as logic. He's tempting you to retreat, to forfeit what you've been contending for. But I'm not going to let that happen. This is not the time to back down. This is not the time to walk away. You are closer than you think. You don't see what I see. You don't see the chains breaking behind the scenes, the hearts softening, the doors preparing to open, the miracles being dispatched. But I do, and I promise you this. The resistance is not a sign that you're losing. It's evidence that you're aligned with me. Let me say it plainly. You're not under attack because you've done something wrong. You're under attack because you're walking in destiny, because your presence carry light, because your life disrupt darkness, because your yes to me is a threat to every lie hell has built. So don't retreat now. Don't abandon your post. Don't silence your voice. I know you're tired. I know the tears still fall in secret. I know the weight feels unbearable at times. But you're not alone in this fight. I'm surrounding you, shielding you, whispering strategy into your spirit. I've placed angels on assignment. I've hedged you in. I've sealed you with purpose. And I'm using even this, the resistance, the warfare, the pain as preparation. You are being strengthened, sharpened, refined. Your roots are growing deeper so the weight of your calling will not crush you. So hold on. Hold on not because it's easy, but because it's holy. Hold on because what's coming is greater than what's pressing against you. Hold on because this fight is not just about survival, it's about legacy. It's about the generations who will walk freer because you chose to stay. The battle is loud, yes, but so is heaven's response. The enemy is screaming, but I am speaking, and my word over you has not changed. You are mine. You are chosen. You are being positioned, and no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Not because you're flawless, but because you're protected. So breathe, child. Lift your head, and keep walking eyes on me. The fire won't consume you. The water won't drown you. This storm won't define you, because I'm in it with you, and I always finish what I start. Come closer, beloved. I need you to breathe slower now. Not because I want you to try harder, but because I want you to finally rest. You've been running, not with your feet, but with your soul. Every day carrying what you never had the strength to hold. Every night folding your pain into silence, pressing it deep down beneath your smile, convincing yourself that if you can just stay in motion, maybe it won't catch up. But it has, hasn't it? The ache, the exhaustion, the dull but persistent ache behind your ribs that no deep breath seems to reach anymore. And still, you wake up. You press forward, you serve, you show up for others while secretly begging for someone to show up for you. You have mistaken this weariness as weakness. You've learned to see your surrender as failure, but I do not see as the world sees, and I do not measure as the world measures. To them, your softness may look like fragility, but to me, it is holy ground. It is the place where miracles begin. Because surrender in my kingdom is not the end, it's the beginning. I never asked you to be strong enough to carry it all. I never designed you to hold shame, regret, and fear as if they were badges of honor. I never asked you to fix what was broken before coming to me. And yet somewhere along the way you began to believe that your value was tied to how well you performed, how put together you appeared, how much weight you could carry without collapsing. But child, that's not faith. That's fear wearing a mask of strength. I see you dragging invisible chains behind you each day, shame you thought I couldn't forgive, wounds you thought were too messy for my touch, secrets you've buried so deeply even you forgot how much they hurt. But I remember. Not to accuse you, never to condemn you, but to heal you, to redeem what you thought was ruined. You keep praying for restoration, but restoration doesn't begin with fixing everything outside. It begins with releasing what's been breaking you inside. So bring it to me. Bring me your anxiety, the restless thoughts that keep circling your mind at 2 a.m., the spirals that start with one fear and end with 100 scenarios that never happened. Bring me the inner critic, the voice that tells you you're always too much or not enough, that every step forward will be undone the moment you let your guard down. Bring me your silence, the words you wanted to speak but never did, the cries that stayed trapped in your throat, the grief you wrapped in smiles for the sake of peace. You don't need to edit yourself in my presence. You don't need to rehearse your pain or clean up your mess before laying it down. I already know it. I already see it. And I am still here. I don't flinch at your brokenness. I don't step back when the cracks in your heart begin to show. I step closer. Because I came for the hurting. I came for the lost, the heavy-hearted, the ones whose strength ran out long ago. I didn't climb the hill of Calvary and let nails pierce my hands just so you could carry what I already died to free you from. Every weight of guilt you still carry, I carried it first. Every wound that bleeds in silence, I bled, so you wouldn't have to bear it alone. Every voice that says you are too far gone, I silenced at the cross. But I will not force you to lay it down. I will not wrest it from your hands. I am gentle. I wait for your yes, for your surrender, not out of defeat, but out of trust. You keep saying you're fine. You tell the world you're okay. You even tell yourself you're just tired, just distracted, just in a hard season. But beneath all that, there is a cry rising, a deep ache whispering, I can't do this anymore. And that whisper, child, that's not failure. That is the sound of your soul returning to me. That's the moment heaven leans in. Because I'm not looking for those who boast in their own strength. I'm drawn to the ones who say, God, I need you. I'm drawn to you not for your perfection, not for your effort, but for your heart. A heart that still wants me even when everything feels broken. Let me remind you of something sacred. Your weakness is not a threat to my plan. It's a doorway to my power. The Apostle Paul once begged me to take away his weakness, and I didn't, not because I didn't love him, but because through it I revealed my strength. My grace is sufficient for you, I told him, for my power is made perfect in weakness. And the same is true for you. You are not disqualified by your struggle. You are not disqualified by your scars. You are not disqualified by the times you stumbled and had to crawl forward on your knees. If anything, those moments are what have made you the most available to me. I see the tenderness they created in you, the compassion that grew when the world didn't see your pain, the empathy that now allows you to hold space for others the way you always wished someone had held it for you. That, child, is kingdom treasure. That is holy, and I will use it. I will use every ache, every misstep, every unanswered prayer, every long night, every tear you cried when no one was there to wipe them. I will use it to build something eternal, not in spite of your surrender, but because of it. So let go now. Not halfway, not for a day, not until the next wave of fear returns, completely. You don't need to figure out what happens after, just give it to me. The load, the fear, the memory, the pressure, the weight, lay it down, open your hands, breathe out the pain. Breathe in my peace. I'm not asking for your perfection. I'm asking for your permission to heal what you've hidden, to carry what's crushed you, to show you what freedom feels like when you stop pretending to be fine. You've spent so much time trying to be the strong one, but I never needed your strength. I only ever wanted your heart. So here's my invitation. Collapse if you must. Cry if you need to. Let go of the pride that says, I should be past this by now. Let go of the fear that says, this is too much. And let me meet you in that moment, not with judgment, but with mercy, always mercy. I will hold you there. I will cover you there. And I will begin again with you from that sacred place of surrender. Because that's what I do. I make all things new, not with force, but with love, with patience, with presence, with grace. This is your holy undoing. This is not falling apart. This is falling into me. My precious child, why do you still wake up carrying the weight I already lifted? Why do you walk through your days with a heaviness pressing on your chest like you are responsible for holding the world together? You weren't meant to. That was never your assignment. You've taken on roles I never gave you. You've absorbed burdens that were never meant for your shoulders. You've whispered, I'm fine, with trembling lips, not because it was true, but because you didn't think anyone had space for your truth. But I do. I always have. You've walked through seasons where survival became your greatest achievement, and you did it silently. You did it exhausted. You did it while wondering where I was. And I want to say this clearly. I was there, not distant, not distracted, not waiting for you to get it right. I was there present in every silent breakdown, every weary breath, every tear that never found its way out. You thought no one noticed when you fell apart behind closed doors, but I did. I saw it all. I saw the moments you laid on the bathroom floor just to catch your breath. I heard the cries that never left your throat. I felt the ache behind your daily routines, the sacred ache of someone trying to keep going while quietly breaking. And I never turned away. You thought my silence was absence, but child, I was holding space for you. I was gathering every shattered piece with hands that don't tremble. I was drawing near in ways your mind couldn't measure. I wasn't withholding, I was holding. Holding you, holding your heart, holding your future. You see, I don't measure your faith by how loud your prayers are. I hear the whispered thoughts that never made it into words. I feel the longing you couldn't even describe. And I count every tear not as weakness but as worship. Because what you didn't know is that your pain became a language in my presence. It told me what words couldn't, and I responded not with thunder or earthquakes, but with mercy. You keep saying I should be past this by now. But child, I'm not on your timeline. I'm not impatient with your process. I'm not embarrassed by your struggle. You are not slow. You are sacred. You are not failing. You are forming. There is no shame in the time it takes to heal. There is no condemnation in the moments you pause to catch your breath. You are not less because you still cry. You are not less because you still remember. You are not less because you still don't understand. Pain has shaped you, yes, but it has not disqualified you. It has deepened you, and I will use every ounce of it. I will use the betrayal to birth discernment. I will use the abandonment to teach you presence. I will use the silence to increase your sensitivity to my voice. I will use the loss to grow compassion, tenderness, humility. And when you walk into rooms carrying peace others cannot explain, they will not know that peace was formed in fire. You ask me to take away the pain, but sometimes, beloved, I don't take it away, I walk with you through it. Not because I enjoy your suffering, but because I am forging something eternal within you that cannot be undone by time or trauma. This is not punishment. This is preparation. I am not building perfection. I am building depth, and depth takes time. So stop punishing yourself for where you are. Stop measuring yourself by who you think you should have been. You are here, and I'm still here, and that is enough for today. Give me the weight. Give me the guilt you carry over the things you said or didn't say. Give me the replay of what you wish you'd done differently. Give me the mental loops that keep dragging you into yesterday. Give me the version of yourself you keep hiding. The part you think would make people walk away. The part you're scared I'll reject. Child, I saw that version of you before anyone else did. I saw the mess and I still said, mine. I saw the wounds and still said, worthy. I saw the mistakes and still chose you. I'm not here for the polished version. I'm here for the real one. You don't have to impress me. You just have to trust me. Trust that what I carried on the cross covers what you can't carry anymore. Trust that I am still big enough to hold what overwhelms you. I'm not afraid of your darkness. I'm not repelled by your doubts. I'm not shocked by your honesty. If you knew how deeply I love the raw, unfiltered you, the one who cries while washing the dishes, the one who trembles while still saying yes, the one who questions but keeps walking, you would never try to hide again. So come, exactly as you are. Bring the heaviness, bring the confusion, bring the shame, the fatigue, the dreams you gave up on. I'm not asking you to have it all together. I'm asking you to let me hold what's falling apart, because I already carried the weight. You don't need to. Let me prove to you that I'm still enough. Not just for the mountaintops, but for the valleys. Not just for the answers, but for the questions. Not just for the miracles, but for the mundane. I am still enough, and I'm still with you, my beloved child. You've wondered if I noticed, if I saw the moments when everything collapsed behind your eyes, while your lips still managed to smile. If I heard the silent cries muffled by a pillow at 2 a.m. or the whispered, God, I can't do this anymore. That never made it out loud. You've wondered, perhaps even feared, that you were walking through all of that alone. But hear me clearly now. Not one tear has ever fallen without my notice. Not one moment of heartbreak has ever escaped my attention. Not one ache of your soul has been too quiet for me to feel. You may think you're forgotten because you haven't seen a miracle yet. You may think I've turned away because the answer hasn't come. But child, I've been present in every single moment. Not just watching, but weeping with you, holding you, whispering peace into the places the world ignored. You've mistaken my stillness for distance, but I've been closer than your next breath. I didn't leave when the pain became unbearable. I didn't flinch when you questioned my goodness. I didn't withdraw when you shut down, or when you pushed me away in frustration. I stayed. When you stared blankly at the wall, wondering if it's worth getting out of bed, I sat beside you. When you felt like everyone moved on and forgot about your pain, I kept count of every breath you took in that darkness. Not because I needed to track your pain, but because I intended to redeem every part of it. You see, I don't waste tears. In my kingdom, tears are not weakness. They are seeds, and every seed sown in sorrow will one day bloom into joy. You don't need to force that bloom. You just need to trust that the soil isn't barren, that even in your dry season, I was still working beneath the surface. You thought you were dying inside, but beloved, something was being born. What you thought was a breaking was actually a deep becoming. The ache you couldn't shake was the sound of old things falling away, making room for something more real, more lasting, more beautiful than anything you had before. I know you miss who you used to be before the pain, but I want you to see who you're becoming because of it. The one who's slower to judge and quicker to listen. The one who loves deeper, not despite the wounds, but because of them. The one who holds space for others, not from a pedestal of answers, but from the floor of shared sorrow. That version of you, that raw, surrendered, quiet version's sacred to me. I'm not polishing you into perfection. I'm shaping you into compassion, into wisdom, into mercy, into depth. And child, that depth comes from fire, not from having all the answers, but from allowing yourself to be honest in the absence of them. I am not offended by your questions. I am not threatened by your doubt. In fact, I'd rather have your messy truth than your silent pretending. Talk to me, not in the way you think you should, not with rehearsed lines or religious tone. Just be with me. Just bring what's real. Even if all you have are sighs, I will still listen. Even if all you can say is help, I will still respond. You keep waiting until you feel worthy to approach me, but beloved, don't you know? You are worthy because I said so, not because you did everything right. You are welcome here, not when you get it together, not when you're strong again, but right now, as you are, weary, frayed, confused, loved. Let me say that again. You are loved, not the cleaned up version of you. Not the version who posts inspiring words and hides the battles. Not the version who's always composed. I love the you who forgets, who breaks, who stumbles and still tries. I love the version of you who comes back to me even with nothing left to give. I love the you who stays soft even when life tries to make you hard. That is the proof of my spirit in you. Do you know how beautiful it is that you still believe in just a little? After everything you've seen, after everyone you've lost, after every time you asked for healing and it didn't come the way you wanted yet, still you whisper, God, help me. That whisper is worship to me. I collect every still I rise moment like treasure. I mark every time you show up again when it would have been easier to quit. Because that, child, is faith. Not the loud, perfect faith of stages and sermons, but the quiet, trembling faith of someone who has every reason to walk away and doesn't. That's what moves my heart. Not grand gestures, but your gentle yes in the middle of pain. So don't think for a moment that your faith is weak because it's weary. It's strong because it's still alive. It's resilient because it has endured. It's sacred because it's honest. And I honor that. Even now, I'm working. Even now, I'm weaving healing into the places you buried too deep to name. Even now, I'm rewriting chapters that shame tried to close. You may not feel it, you may not see it, but you will, because I finish what I start. I don't drop what I've chosen, and I have chosen you. So, let the tears come if they must. Let the ache rise if it needs to. Let the silence stretch if it must be silent. I am in all of it, and I am not going anywhere. My beloved child, you've walked through valleys so dark, you forgot what light even looked like. You faced storms that tried to drown not just your joy, but your identity. There were nights you didn't think you'd make it. Days you went through the motions, not because you felt strong, but because you didn't know what else to do. And yet you are, still breathing, still standing, still moving, even if just barely. And I want you to know, that matters more than you think. Your survival is not just a coincidence, it is a declaration, a divine echo that says, purpose still lives here. You may not see it yet. You may still be surrounded by pieces of what broke you, but I do not rescue for no reason. I do not preserve people just to prove a point. I preserved you because your life carries something sacred. I protected you not just from death, but from losing the essence of who you are. I guarded your softness when the world tried to harden you. I shielded your heart when betrayal tried to close it for good. I held you together when grief tried to dissolve the meaning of everything you once held dear. Yes, you've survived things most people will never understand. And yes, it cost you pieces of yourself. But what the enemy tried to kill in you, I've been resurrecting slowly, gently, purposefully. The tenderness in your heart, the empathy that allows you to weep with others, the strength to sit in silence beside someone else's suffering. That's me, child. That's my image being formed in you. You thought your survival was just for you, but I have plans beyond what you can see. I am going to use you. Yes, even now. Even here, not after you're fully healed, not after everything makes sense. Now, you carry something that the world is starving for. Not perfection, not power, but presence. The kind of presence that says, I know how it feels to break and I know how it feels to be held together by grace. You don't have to be a preacher to speak hope. You don't have to be a prophet to shine light. Your scars will speak louder than polished words ever could, because real impact doesn't come from performance. It comes from presence. You are the living proof that pain doesn't get the final say. You are the evidence that broken things can become beautiful. You are the testimony that grace reaches the lowest places and still resurrects what was buried in shame. So, stop minimizing your survival. Stop treating your healing as something that must be hidden until it's complete. Even now with your questions, even now with your slow days, even now with your trembling hope, you are being used. Every word you speak with tenderness, every time you choose to stay kind, every time you comfort someone with what once comforted you, you are pouring out what I've poured into you. You've asked me, why didn't I die when everything fell apart? And this is my answer. Because I'm not finished. Because the world needs what's inside you. Because your very breath is an act of defiance against despair. Because the enemy tried to end you and failed. And now you are carrying something unstoppable. Not a weapon, but a witness. You are a witness of mercy. A witness of my faithfulness. A witness of what it means to walk through fire and not smell like smoke. Do you remember those nights you whispered, just one more day? I remember them too. They were sacred to me, not because of your strength, but because of your surrender. That's what kept you. Not perfection, not certainty, but a soul that refused to let go of me completely. And now, I am redeeming it all. Every tear you cried in silence, I will use it to water someone else's hope. Every time you showed up in brokenness, I will multiply it into grace for another soul. Every step you took, even with shaky knees, I will use to show others how to walk through their own valleys. Nothing is wasted, even the time you think you lost. Even the relationships that ended, even the dreams you buried. I can resurrect what the world calls finished. I am not bound by time. I am not limited by detours, and I am not concerned with appearances. I am only interested in one thing, your heart. And your heart, child, is still beating with a divine rhythm. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not too broken to be useful. You are exactly where I can begin again. I know you still hurt. I know there are days when the grief rises out of nowhere. I know the moments when you smile and feel the tears hiding just beneath the surface. But I want you to know those tears are holy. They are not evidence of failure. They are evidence of life. They are evidence that you are still soft enough to feel, even after all you've endured. Let them fall if they must. Let them cleanse if they need to. Let them remind you that even now, your story is still being written. I'm not done. You're not done. And this place where you thought it all ended is where we begin again. So don't turn back. Don't shrink. Don't silence yourself. Don't let shame have the last word. Your story isn't over. It's being rewritten. And when I write, child, every chapter has purpose. My child, you've spent far too long letting your past define you. You replay scenes in your mind, words you wish you hadn't spoken, choices you wish you hadn't made, moments you wish you could erase. And you've let them name you. You've let them narrate your worth. But I'm here to tell you, that is not who you are. You are not the sum of your mistakes. You are not the echo of your regrets. You are not what happened to you. You are not what they said about you when they didn't see the full story. You are not the worst day you ever had. You are mine. And I do not define you by the same standards the world uses. I don't look at you and see failure. I see formation. I don't look at your detours and see disobedience. I see deeper trust being cultivated. I don't look at the broken pieces and turn away. I gather them in my hands and begin again. You've carried shame like a second skin, convinced that if anyone really knew you, if they saw the full story, they'd leave. But I've seen the whole thing. I was there when the pain took root. I was there when you tried to numb it. I was there when you ran, when you hid, when you chose things you're now trying to forget. And still I chose you. Still you stayed. Still I called you beloved. Let this truth settle deep. There is nothing in your past that has disqualified you from my love. Nothing you've done has caught me off guard. You don't need to edit your history to earn my presence. I knew every page before you lived it, and I still said yes to you. The enemy wants to keep you circling in shame. He wants to keep you tied to old narratives, old labels, old fears. He whispers things like, you should have known better. You'll never be clean. You've gone too far. But I silenced those voices with the cross. I cancelled their accusations with my blood. And I am writing a new story, not based on your perfection, but on my promise. So stop rehearsing your guilt. Stop mourning chapters I've already closed. Stop waiting until you feel holy enough to come closer. You don't come to me because you've cleaned yourself up. You come to me because you can't clean yourself up without me. You don't approach me when you're worthy. You approach me because you're loved. I never asked you to be flawless. I asked you to be honest. He never demanded perfection. I've always longed for proximity. Come closer. Even with the past you carry. Even with the questions still unresolved. Even with the shame still clinging to the corners of your heart like shadows at dusk. I am the light that cannot be overcome. I do not expose to embarrass. I expose to heal. I uncover so I can redeem. I want to show you what I see when I look at you. I see someone who stayed tender even after betrayal. I see someone who still hopes even after disappointment. I see someone who chooses love even after being wounded by it. That is strength. That is beauty. That is my image in you. You've said, "But God, I still struggle." And I say, "I know." You've said, "I still fall into old patterns." And I say, "I'm not giving up on you." You've said, "I don't feel like I belong to you." And I say, "Your feelings don't cancel my truth. You belong, not because you've earned it, but because I've paid for it." Every time you try to atone for your past by punishing yourself, you're forgetting that I already took the punishment. You're trying to carry a cross that has already been lifted. You're trying to pay a debt that's already been cancelled. Beloved, it is finished. You are not on probation with me. You are not being held at a distance until you prove yourself. I have already drawn near. You are fully forgiven, fully seen, fully loved. And nothing, no voice, no memory, no condemnation can undo what I have spoken over you. You are redeemed. You are restored. You are new, not because of what you've done, but because of what I've done for you. You keep waiting for another sign to confirm that you're still chosen. But child, you are the sign. Your survival, your softness, your ability to still love, still believe, still breathe, that is evidence enough. You carry my spirit within you, and that spirit does not label you by your past. That spirit calls you forward. So I ask you today, will you come? Will you come out of hiding? Will you stop shrinking under shame that I've already broken? Will you look up, take my hand, and let me lead you into a future not defined by who you were, but by who you are becoming? There's still more to live for, more to give, more to become. And it starts not by proving yourself, but by receiving what I've already spoken. You are loved. You are mine. You are free. My beloved child, I know how tired you are. Tired of hoping, tired of trying, tired of praying for change that still hasn't come. You've held on for what feels like forever, and you're starting to wonder, what if this is just how it is? What if I'm stuck like this forever? But child, listen closely. You are not stuck. You are being shaped. What you call nothing happening is actually me working in silence. I am not slow as you suppose. I am precise. I am not careless with your time. I am intentional with every second. And while you long for the finish line, I long for your heart along the way. You see, you want resolution, but I want transformation. I want you to become someone who doesn't just reach the promise, but someone who can carry it with strength and humility once it arrives. And that kind of becoming it doesn't happen fast. It doesn't happen in the highlight reels or in sudden flashes of glory. It happens in the hidden places, in the quiet, in the everyday moments where you choose to stay, even when it hurts, even when it's boring, even when it looks like nothing is changing. That's the altar of trust. That's where the deepest worship is found, not in what you sing, but in how you wait. You've asked me, where are you in this waiting? And I tell you, I am not beyond the breakthrough. I am in the waiting. I'm in the moment you choose kindness when you feel invisible. I'm in the prayer you whisper through gritted teeth because hope feels foolish. I'm in the tears you cry when you're frustrated that healing hasn't come yet. I'm in the rising again after you told yourself yesterday would be your last try. You think the process means you're failing, but the process is the proof that you are still being formed by my hands. Even now, I am pruning what cannot go with you into the next season. Even now, I am refining motivas, softening edges, strengthening your inner frame, not to punish you, but to protect you, because I see the weight of what's coming. I know the doors that will open, and I am shaping you now so that when the doors swing wide, your character will be ready to stand in the blessing. You've asked for fruit, and I've planted the seed. But child, every seed needs darkness before it ever sees light. So don't despise this hidden season. Don't curse the soil just because it feels cold. Don't give up just because you haven't seen the sprout yet. Roots come before results. I know it feels like you're going in circles. I know it feels like you're repeating the same lessons. But sometimes circles are sanctuaries. Sometimes I let you walk through the same terrain again, not to shame you, but to show you how much you've grown. You don't see it yet, but I do. You're not reacting the same way you used to. You're praying more honestly now. You're trusting me sooner, even if you still wrestle. You're walking slower, but more wisely. This is progress. Maybe not the kind that's flashy. Maybe not the kind that gets applause, but the kind that builds legacy. The kind of progress that lasts. So stop measuring your life by what others have achieved. Stop comparing your season to theirs. They're not running your race. They don't carry your calling. And child, your calling cannot be rushed. It must be grown. So I ask you, will you stay? Will you remain planted when everything in you wants to uproot and run? Will you remain faithful when the results are invisible? Will you remain honest when it would be easier to pretend? Because what I build in hiddenness will be the foundation for your public joy. And what I cultivate in private will be your strength when the spotlight comes. There is no wasted obedience. There is no meaningless perseverance. Every yes you give me in the dark will bloom into glory in my perfect time. So don't let impatience rob you of the masterpiece. Don't let frustration tear up what I've carefully sown. Don't sabotage the story just because the chapter is slow. I promise you there's more on the way. Not just more, as in blessings, but more of me. More peace in your waiting. More revelation in your quiet. More clarity through your questions. Because I never waste a process. And neither should you. So today, if all you can do is breathe and trust me again, if all you can offer is your presence and a whisper of faith, if all you can say is, I'm still here, God, then that's enough. You don't have to feel strong to be strong. You don't have to see growth to believe in it. You just need to keep showing up with your whole heart, because the promise still stands. The process is not punishment, it's preparation. And you, beloved, are right where you're supposed to be. Stay. Let me finish what I started in you. My beloved child, you've heard it said that good things take time, but I am not preparing you for just a good thing. I'm preparing you for something holy, something divine, something crafted by my own hands with eternity in mind. That's why the wait feels long. That's why the shaping feels deep, because what's coming isn't small. I know you've wondered if the delay means denial. I know you've looked at your life and whispered, maybe this is all there is. But I am here to tell you, it's not over. You have not missed it. You have not been forgotten. And the best I've planned for you has not passed you by. You've been sitting in the hallway between what was and what will be. And you've started to feel numb, detached from your dreams, weary in your waiting, unsure whether hope is a gift or a burden. But hope, my child, is not a cruel trick. It's a seed, and every seed must stay buried for a time before it blooms. Don't mistake silence for absence. Don't confuse waiting with abandonment. Don't equate delay with denial. When you asked me for new doors, I began building you into the person who could walk through them without breaking. When you asked for love, I started healing the parts of you that would sabotage it. When you asked for purpose, I began stirring the pain that would produce it. And when you asked for peace, I began removing every false comfort that could never truly give it to you. Child, I heard you. I never ignored you. But I am too wise to give you what you want before you're ready to carry it. Because I love you too much to watch your blessing become a burden. So yes, the shaping has been painful. The pruning has cut deeper than you expected. The surrender I asked for has touched places you tried to protect. But all of it, every moment, is leading you somewhere sacred. You don't see it yet, but I do. I see the restoration that's coming. The relationship that will not just make you feel loved, but understood. The opportunity that will not just elevate you, but anchor you in me. The future that won't just look good on the outside, but feel good on the inside. You're not being set aside. You're being set apart. You are being positioned. You are being refined. You are being marked by heaven. Because what's coming won't be ordinary. I am not just giving you back what you lost. I am giving you something better, something you didn't even know to ask for. You thought you were waiting for a thing, a job, a breakthrough, a person. But you've actually been waiting for alignment. For your heart to match mine. For your soul to become steady enough to hold joy without fearing it. For your faith to stretch wide enough to receive what only faith can contain. This isn't a detour. It's destiny unfolding in slow, sacred steps. So stop mourning the time you think you've lost. Nothing is wasted in my hands. Not a single tear, not a single year, not a single no that protected you from a premature yes. And I want you to know, even in your wilderness I've been working. I've been preparing places for you, people for you, paths for you. There are conversations waiting where your voice will carry healing. There are rooms waiting where your story will unlock courage. There are doors waiting that no man can shut because I myself have opened them. So don't lose heart now. Don't give up in chapter 7 when chapter 12 is where the miracle breaks open. Don't let temporary discomfort make you abandon eternal purpose. You're closer than you think. You think you're still far away because it doesn't feel different yet. But child breakthrough often comes quietly, like dawn breaking the longest night, like buds opening after a hard winter, like breath returning after grief stole it for so long. I want you to breathe again. I want you to dream again. I want you to expect again. Not because you see proof, but because you trust my promise. This next season won't be about striving. It will be about receiving. It won't be about proving yourself worthy. It will be about remembering you already are. I am doing something new in you. You may not see the full picture yet, but you can feel it stirring. The subtle shift, the lifting of heaviness, the quiet hope that keeps trying to rise. That's me. That's the beginning of joy returning. So take this as my word to you. The wait has not been in vain. The tears have not gone unnoticed. The tension in your soul has not been a sign of weakness, but of stretching. You are expanding. You are unfolding. You are becoming the version of yourself who can receive and sustain what I've prepared. And what I've prepared for you, it is so much better than what you were settling for. It is richer, deeper, more whole. It doesn't just answer your prayers, it reveals the purpose behind them. So keep going, beloved. Keep showing up. Keep expecting me, because I will come through. Not just someday, but in my perfect timing, which is never late and always filled with purpose. My beloved, come close now. Not with fear, not with guilt, but with openness, with nothing to prove and everything to receive. Because I want to tell you something that will carry you through every storm, every silence, every valley. I am still holding you, and I always will. You may have felt me quiet lately. You may have wondered if you wandered too far. You may have even said to yourself, maybe I messed it up beyond repair. But listen, I do not let go. Not when you question, not when you fall short, not when you lose faith, not even when you run. You see, this love I have for you, it's not like the love the world gives. It doesn't come and go with mood or behavior. It doesn't waver with your performance. It doesn't vanish when you doubt me. My love is not a contract you can break. It's a covenant I will never abandon. I am not waiting for you to become someone different so I can finally delight in you. I already do. Right now, as you are, with your unfinished healing, with your unspoken fears, with your unresolved questions. I love you, and not just in some general, far-off way. I love you, the person reading this, the soul who sometimes feels unseen in a loud world, the heart that wonders if they matter when everything feels heavy. You matter to me. You always have. Even before you were born, I saw you. Before the first breath, before the first word, before the first failure, I knew you. And I didn't choose you because I knew you'd get everything right. I chose you because you are mine, because you are the reflection of my heart, because in you I placed a piece of eternity that nothing in this world can take away. You may not feel strong, but that's okay, I am your strength. You may not feel brave, but I'll be brave for you. You may not feel worthy, but I made you worthy. And no feeling, no mood, no moment can change the truth of what I've spoken over your life. You are chosen. You are called. You are carried. You are cherished. You have cried tears in the dark, thinking no one noticed. But I did. I caught every single one. They are not forgotten. They are not wasted. They are the very ink I've used to write the next chapter of your story. You've been asking, how will I make it through this? And I am answering, even now you don't have to make it through alone. Let me hold what you can't carry anymore. Let me walk into the places you've closed off. Let me love the parts of you you've hidden even from yourself. I'm not overwhelmed by your mess. I'm not intimidated by your doubts. I'm not distant because of your silence. I am here. I've always been here. Through the grief, through the fear, through the disappointment, through the prayers you whispered when no one else was awake. I heard you, and I have not forgotten. Every promise I made still stands. Every word I spoke still lives. Every intention I have for you is still unfolding, even when you can't see it yet. So don't lose heart, child. Don't give up on yourself just because the journey has felt long. Don't close your heart just because some people didn't know how to love it well. Don't assume the silence means abandonment. Sometimes I step back not to leave you, but to strengthen your legs for the climb ahead. Sometimes I allow the tension not to hurt you, but to expand your capacity. Sometimes I wait, not because I'm punishing you, but because the promise is still being prepared. And yes, sometimes I weep with you, because I feel your pain too. Because I am not a distant God, but a tender Father. I enter into your sorrow not to explain it, but to carry it with you. You've never cried alone. You've never fought alone. You've never wandered alone. Every time you whispered, God, I don't know how to keep going, I answered with strength you didn't know you had. Every time you asked, God, are you even here? I wrapped my presence around you, even when you couldn't feel it. And now, here we are. You're still here. You're still standing. Maybe not without scars, but scars only mean you healed. Maybe not without questions, but questions mean you're still searching. Maybe not without weariness, but weary means you haven't quit. So let me say this once and for all. You are not too late. You are not too much. You are not forgotten. You are not broken beyond repair. You are mine. And I am not done with your story. In fact, the most beautiful parts, the ones that will make people weep and wonder, how did they survive? Those parts are still ahead. You will see beauty rise from ashes. You will see clarity emerge from confusion. You will feel joy again, not just fleeting joy, but the kind that roots itself deep and stays through every season. And you won't have to chase it. It will come, not because you earned it, but because you stayed close to me. So let this be the truth that steadies you today. I'm not going anywhere. You can rest now. Not because everything makes sense, but because you're safe in me. You've made it this far, not by luck or chance, but by grace. And that same grace will carry you forward. Let's take the next step together, hand in hand. Because I love you. and I always will. If this message has spoken to your soul, write Amen in the comments and share it with someone who needs this same reminder today. My precious child, as we come to the close of this sacred message, I want you to pause for a moment, not to rush into the next task, not to scroll past these final words, but to be still. Let this silence between us become the sacred space where you finally exhale. You've made it through every word I whispered over you, not by chance, but by grace. You stayed. You listened. You opened your heart to something deeper than encouragement. You opened your soul to healing. And now, here's what I want you to know before you go. You are not leaving this message the same way you entered it. Something has shifted. Not everything is fixed, but something has opened. That heaviness in your chest is not yours to carry anymore. That echo of doubt in your mind, it just heard a louder voice. That question, am I really loved, has just been answered in the most eternal, unwavering way possible. Yes, my child, you are loved. You are wanted. You are safe. You are seen. And you are never walking alone again. In this world, you will still face storms. There will still be days when you forget everything I've said here. That's okay. I won't forget you. There will still be moments when the grief sneaks back in, when the fear rises like a tide, when your knees feel weak and the voices of doubt grow loud. But let this truth rise louder in your spirit. I am with you. Not sometimes, not when you're good, always. In the traffic jam, I'm beside you. In the hospital room, I'm holding your hand. In the midnight hour, when your tears fall into your pillow, I'm gathering each one. In the morning, when you feel numb again, I'm breathing new mercies into your lungs. You are not just going to survive this life. You are going to thrive in it. Not because it's easy, but because I'm in it with you. You will laugh again. You will trust again. You will dance again, even if right now you don't remember how. And when you do, it won't be because the pain never existed. It will be because the pain no longer owns you. I have rewritten your story in light. I have carved your name in my palm. I have wrapped my promises around your soul like armor. And I have released my blessing over you, not just for today, but for the days to come. So walk forward in peace. Don't rush. Don't fear. Just walk. Step by step. Breath by breath. With the quiet confidence of one who knows they are held. This is not the end. It's a beginning. The beginning of living as one who is beloved. The beginning of making decisions from peace instead of panic. The beginning of loving yourself the way I've always loved you. The beginning of no longer apologizing for your softness, your strength, or your story. You don't need to strive anymore. You don't need to prove your worth. You don't need to hide your heart. Just be. Just breathe. Just trust that this moment right here is holy ground. Because I'm here, and you are mine, always. If your soul received this message, write Amen in the comments and let it become your anchor. Share this with someone who may be walking through their own quiet battle. They need to know they're not alone either. God is still speaking. God is still holding. God is still healing. You are loved.